You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
All right, guys, so I got our famous world traveler, Nick Laurie here. He has been cruising around, brought to us by Bropstrop. So, Nick, man, I don't even know where to start. You went to India, Detroit, India. Where do you want to start, my man?
Man, let's start I guess we can start the first trip to India.
Okay, so those that don't know, Nick is racing in the Indian Supercross League. So you were drafted onto a team. So you just show up and they just have everything ready, or how does that work? Is it just like a regular football team or what?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty legit. So, I mean, there was a lot of moving parts and a lot of work in progress with the bikes and everything. We got stock bikes, which, I mean, not isn't like we got brand new stock bikes, which is sick. But for Supercross, it was a little difficult the first round.
Wait, so you didn't take suspension or anything with you?
No,
Did anyone?
a lot of people did, which I guess is more my fault. But I didn't even know what bike I was going to ride until the week before, and we ended up riding Hondas. So I didn't have anything ready for Honda.
Oh man, Nick. Well, hey, so once you get there, how did the track look? I mean, India, was it scary, or were you worried about getting hurt in India? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely in the back of my head. Like, you don't want to get hurt here. I mean, I'm sure their medicine is great for them, but I mean, we can't even drink the water or anything like that. So I was a little nervous about getting injured there and having to go to the hospital.
so how are the Indian fans? Did they know what Supercross was? Did they? I mean, how was the turnout? Did they know who you were?
Oh yeah, I mean, they sold out their stadium, and I mean, all the fans were super enthusiastic, and I don't necessarily like think they fully understand what they were seeing. They just knew it was cool.
Wow, how big was the stadium? How many seats?
Um, I couldn't really tell you, but I mean, it was a pretty decent sized stadium. It wasn't like what we have in the States, but I mean, at least half of that.
Like 5,000, 10,000?
I'd say 12, 15,000.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's good. Now, was it all foreigners? How many are there? Any Indian-based riders that went against you? Anyone good from India?
No, so they have their 450 international and their 250 international, and I did the 250 international, and then they have their own kind of India Asia race where I guess they bring people from Asia and then they race the Indians. So they do have Indian riders, they just don't race with us.
Okay. Well, how did they look? Did they look like, is that the eventual plan, is to groom some of those guys to be Supercross riders? Is that the kind of the plan by the?
I'm not necessarily sure. Like I can't. It's very hard to tell how good everyone is because it's a legit super. I wouldn't say legit. It's pretty close to legit Supercross. Pretty. I'd say a pretty tamed down, mellow Supercross. But the dirt doesn't really cooperate that well, and no one's on their own bike, and it's all kind of awkward. So you don't really know how good anyone actually is.
Well, okay, so you go there, you jump on this stock Honda, race Supercross in India, and then you got to fly back. And so once you fly back, what did you get, like a day or two before you raced Detroit?
Not even. So I flew back. I got back Wednesday night in Orlando, and then I drove through the night. I got back pretty late. I think I got home or I landed at like 10 o'clock at night. Drove to Orlando, or from Orlando to MTF, which is 4 hours. And I got to sleep a little bit. Because you got to think India's a 10.5 hour time change too. So I was all sorts of messed up and out of whack. And so I got to sleep a little bit. And I rode my bike the next day. And then I slept for like maybe an hour after unpacking and repacking and then making sure I have all my right gear because I mean I had to wear the team gear there and I had to wear the team gear, different team gear here. So I slept for like an hour, drove back to Orlando, and flew out and got to Detroit Friday morning.
Wow. Okay, so you get to Detroit and you got your new Team Wildcat set up, you and Lorenzo. Tell me about the weekend. How did it go?
Man, that weekend in particular was a very, very hard weekend for me mentally. I mean, I just flew 30 hours. I haven't slept in 3 days. I'm exhausted. And that was really hard on me. But also, the change of the bikes was pretty hard on me because I didn't get much time on the Wildcat bike to begin with. Then I went to India, rode a different bike, and then I came to Detroit and rode a bike I've never ridden before. So it was a learning curve at best, but I got it out of the way. I did it. I could say I didn't give up.
Dude, and tell me about that track. So you raced the first one where they flipped the order. So you were 250C group, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that track was destroyed by the time you hit it. Have you ever ridden a more broken down, dangerous Supercross track?
No, and like even talking to some of the other guys at MTF, they're like, we've really never seen Supercross track like that. Cause like I guess Indy gets that way where it gets really rutted like that, but the dirt is hard enough because like the ruts are stable. This dirt was so grabby. I mean, you hit one wrong anything, any square edge in the whoops, in the turns, it's going to take you for a ride. It's going to take you where it wants to go. And all the ruts were concaving in, so it was kind of awkward.
So now how do you and some of the other guys feel about that switch they did where they made you guys go second and then the LCQ and then 10 minutes? Like, I'm sorry, I thought it was ridiculous. I've been an opponent. I thought it was one of the dumbest things they've done in a long time. What was the thoughts? Do you talk to any other guys or was anyone happy about it?
I mean, I don't think anyone was really happy about it besides the 450 guys. I bet they thought it was sick. But I mean, it didn't make it any easier on me, which is fine. That's our sport. Our sport's hard. It's grueling. Deal with it. But it was not easy. And it didn't benefit anyone on the 250 side.
No, and that's my problem with it is you got guys like you who are entering Supercross, and I understand 450C guys, some of them aren't the best either, but at least they're more veterans. They're 450 riders.
Yeah.
You really want to stick a bunch of new guys out there in that deadly track? I just felt like it was a recipe for disaster.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of people crashed, and a lot of people crashed in every group. So I I don't even know if the switch was even the problem. I think the track was the problem that weekend, but it was gnarly, and yeah, the switch was hard, and I mean, I don't know, I'm not used to anything else, so it wasn't like it was a big change for me. But
And I knew as soon as I saw the schedule, I'm not gonna lie, part of the reason I was pissed, I was like, oh man, Nick's probably gonna get stuck in C group. And I remember watching the 450C guys go at the track that's all torn up, and I'm always like, man, these poor guys, nobody has a shot to make the night show because it's so torn up. And I'm like, man, Nick's gonna get stuck in that. So
oh yeah, it was miserable, and I was already having like a miserable day. I was falling asleep in between my practice sessions, and I mean, the team was absolutely amazing. They were the best. They were so supportive. The bike was on point. They understood what I was kind of dealing with, so they were great on their part. And it was more of a just bust on my part.
how did what I didn't see what happened to Lorenzo. How did he do?
He qualified in, but he got sick the week before, and I got sick the day after Detroit because of him. But he got sick, and I guess he had a practice crash during the week, and then he crashed again in his last qualifying session. So he didn't end up not racing that night.
Is he okay? Is he going to be fine for Arlington?
Yeah, he's gonna be good for Arlington.
Okay, so you finish Detroit, you make it through. Now you got an illness, and I didn't know you were heading right back to India. I was like, yeah, take a couple days, rest up, and we'll do a show. And then you're like, wait, no, I'm leaving for India. I'm like, what?
I flew back, so I get to MTF Sunday afternoon, drive my 4 hours back to MTF, and Sunday night is the first day I got a full night's rest in the last week. I rode Monday, Tuesday. I got sick Wednesday morning before my flight, and it was just like a sore throat and whatever. But then I started flying, and that was awful. My ears, the most pain I've ever felt in my ears. It felt like someone was stabbing me in my ears. It was ridiculous. And I get the ear titis, and I have ear infection, and I have throat infection, and I was getting Indian antibiotics. And I mean, the people at India were amazing. The promoters were sending doctors to the hotel. I mean, they were world class when it came to helping me get better. I don't think if they were playing that role, I wouldn't have been able to race.
Oh wow. That's good to hear. At least, it's funny. Sounds like the health coverage there might be better than here.
I don't know. At least the customer service in healthcare is, but I'm not sure about. It took a couple days for the antibiotics to kick in.
All right. So, okay. So, and then you race in India. How did it go the second time?
So we did practice Saturday, and I couldn't breathe that well, so I did maybe 4 laps of practice. I did my rhythms, whatever. And I mean, there's 20-minute practice sessions. I did 4 laps. Then Sunday comes around, I'm feeling a lot better. And I want to say I start like third, and I'm just running third, and then like halfway through the moto, I can't get oxygen. And I fell back to like sixth, and that's when like I finished and come off the track and pass out. And then they put me on the oxygen tank, and the motor's only 15 minutes apart. So then I go right back out, do it again. I want to say I got seventh overall or something, but it was a hard weekend because finished that motor. I gave the bike to the mechanic. My teammates were like holding me up at like right at the finish line because I'm gonna pass out. So they were doing a lot of giving me oxygen through a tank and trying to clear up everything in my lungs.
Oh wow. And then I don't know,
But
you told me you had a good story. Let's hear this story we're talking about.
I mean, everything going on with this, and I mean, it was a drama-filled weekend because my teammate Jordy Tixier got into it with Supercross.
Ah, I
I don't
saw
know
that
if you saw that.
a little bit.
And they banned Supercross for that round and the next round.
Wait a second. So what happened? Like, did they fist fight? Did they take each other out? What'd they do?
No, so it was the start, and I don't know. I don't think it was anyone's fault. It was just a start. Like everyone came. It was a right hand start. It was going onto the track where we were racing. So it was braking bumps coming into the start that you're hitting and you're not seeing, and it's dry. So a bunch of people were crashing on the start, and I don't know what happened, but I guess they crashed together, and Subaru felt like it was Jordy's fault and gave him a little tap on the face, and they called Supercross off, and Supercross went to the rig and they had some words, and I mean I was all there for it. I thought it was entertaining, but yes, Supercross got banned for that. He got banned for that race and the next one, I think.
Jeez, that'll probably cost them a little bit of money. That's no good. So, all right. Well, what's your plan? I don't want to keep you too long. I know you probably need to get some sleep or get back on a schedule. When do you go back to India and when do you ride again? Tell me what's going on with you.
So I'm gonna go test the race bike tomorrow at Sandbox, and then gonna rest this weekend a lot. I'm gonna miss Arlington because I fly back to India for the last round on Wednesday, and that's the final round, and then I get back to a normal schedule.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good. So rest up for that. Yeah, just ride the race bike, get ready. So after Arlington, you go to Houston, right?
Daytona.
Oh, it's Daytona. Okay. Well, I'll see you at Daytona. So we'll
Oh
be
yeah, that'd
there.
be sick.
Yeah, I'll come say hi. But no, well, Nick, man, dude, I cannot believe the schedule you're keeping right now. So I don't want to keep you much longer. Is there anything else you wanted to let us know?
No, I mean, yeah, it's been pretty hard on me, and I'm drained, but I'm definitely pushing through it. Um, Trying to be as resilient as possible, but it's a great experience, and I mean, my teammates are great. Like we have Jordy Tixier, and then uh, I really can't pronounce their names that well, but we have a French rider on 250, and then we have another German rider on the 450, and they're all really sick and they're great people. So it's been a great experience, and the promoters are great. So I'm so glad I got to be a part of this first coming of it, and hopefully they continue it because they're putting on a good show, and for them being the first year, it's gonna grow a lot.
Well, if they're selling out the stadiums, I'm thinking they probably will. And I love that you're in on the ground floor. And I mean, and when World Supercross was created, their whole idea was to get leagues like that in other areas to just build it worldwide and then have one World Series. So I don't know, man. It looks like it might be working. You got India. I heard some stuff they're doing over in Saudi Arabia. So awesome, man. Stay in it and rest up, get ready. We'll be cheering for you, and we'll touch base before you head out for your next round. But I'll give you a couple days to rest up. But good to see you again, brother.
Yeah, we'll work it out. We'll get back together.
Okay. All right, man. You have a wonderful evening.
All right, thank you. Bye.